So now, over the next speaker. Let's see if we have them in the studio. Hi, Golnar.
Hi, Igor. Long time no see.
Yeah, long time since the last W in summer. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you? How are you doing?
Awesome.
I think the conference has been amazing so far.
Yes, it's been great. It's fourth day actually, and we have one more day ahead. Today we're live from Paris, and thankfully to Facebook Gaming, this is happening. So over to you right now.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me for the second time. It's a pleasure. Uh, so, as you just introduced me, this is Golnar. I'm Director of Sales and Partnership at Cafe Bazaar. And for those who don't know Cafe Bazaar is biggest alternative Android store in MENA. We've been working as Android store so far, and we are just celebrating our 10th anniversary these days. Um, but recently we expand our business into publishing service as well. We started the publishing service from Iran, and now it's been quite, I can say 1 year that we are working in MENA region as well. That's why I'm going to talk regarding publishing in MENA region, and I'm going to elaborate why this region is a good region for investing um, as we did, and I'm going to encourage you to do so. Okay, Igor, I think I'm having problem with the slides. Oh no, okay, it's fine. Okay, I'm just going to give you quick data from this region. There are like many different data that which country is considered as MENA region, which country is not. So maybe we can agree on what I'm going to show you, that around 22 and 23 countries are considered as MENA region. Maybe some of them, some of the countries like Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and some countries in North Africa like Egypt, like Libya, Morocco, Tunisia, and some countries that you don't know if they are considered as MENA or not, very well known, like Turkey, and some countries that people don't know to put it in MENA or not, like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. So there are many different version of MENA region. So these countries, like mostly have some common background, some common elements, like that they have a very young population. I can say like 60 up to 80% of the population are under 30 years old. That's why it make it interesting for the game companies, because we all know that young population are a potential for the game companies. The other thing that I may I may address as cons to this region is that there is a lot of different like culture, different subculture in this region. For example, in Middle East that I'm coming from, I can say that there are Farsi as a language that I speak. There is Arabic as people speak in Persian Gulf, like Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and other countries. countries. There is another language, Turkish, that speak in Turkey and some part of Iran as well. So there are a lot of ethnic groups, a lot of language. So the region is very vivid and very um, diverse in regard of culture, language, ethnic group. So it needs a lot of study that I'm going to address in further presentation, in further slide. Another thing that is important about MENA region is that it's like the countries that are in this region produce almost 60% of the world's oil reserves and 45% of the world's natural gas reserves. So this means almost half of the world oil and gas resources. So this shows that the region has a good potential for earning investment. So this is another thing that make this region universe, like unify, and yeah, that's another thing that I like to mention. And the other thing is that Islam is like the dominant religion is in this region. So almost 90% of this region are Muslims. So this is another thing that I'm going to address, make some barrier for some developers, because some games that have nudity or partial nudity, they have concern to enter MENA because some games are not acceptable by law or by culture. So this is another thing that if a game wants to enter MENA, needs to consider. Okay, here are some statistic regarding revenue. Top three countries that are earning revenue in MENA are number one is Turkey, number two is Saudi Arabia, and number three is Iran. But this whole country, like the whole, if we consider all the countries in MENA, they are just producing 3% of global revenue. This is too low. I'm going to elaborate why we think this is too low. And we think that this revenue can be more, and we expect more revenue from this region. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide. As I mentioned, the gaming population in this region, as the population is young, the gaming population is very high. Almost half of the population is almost 500 million, up to 600 million in the region. Around 300 million are mobile gamers. So this is huge. Around half of the population are considered mobile gamers. So there is a very good potential for mobile gaming companies to enter to this region and enjoy this potential. Honestly, in the whole presentation, I'm focusing on some points that are very limited. One of them is the potential, because we believe that this market is underserved, and it has a great potential that I'm going to elaborate it with a statistic. And we think that more mobile game companies can enter. So I'm going to give you more statistic to show why, to justify this idea of potential of the market. So I'm going to go around this idea in the whole presentation. Okay, here it's another justification that Apple introduced a whole Arab speaking or all Arab app store for developers. Now is beta version for developers. There are some different with like switching from one language to another language or having a content in another language. I'm sure you know it, that when you produce a content or localize a content or a game to another language, something happens because you localize it, you add some cultural elements, you do the translation in game. So this is what Apple had in mind to produce and to offer contents in Arabic. So why Arabic? Because the like the most speaking language in MENA region is Arabic. Like 330 million young people are speaking Arabic. So this is the first step that App Store wanted to take and to offer localized content to Middle East or MENA users. Regarding what I mentioned for Arabic language, maybe you know that Arabic language is fourth language in the world, like regarding population, that Arabic speakers are 5 to 6% of the world population. That's huge. But the revenue, I'm sorry, the content that is produced in Arabic is just only 1 to 2%. So it's very low, and it shows that we can also we can have more content in Arabic. Another statistic I can add to this is that 15% of gamers are Arabic gamers, but they are just making 3% of world's revenue. So you can see that the difference is very big. 15% comparing to 3%. So we have a very big gap, and we can produce more games, or we can localize more games in this for this Arabic speakers, or just start with this Arabic speakers and expand our market to the other MENA region or other language. Okay, that's the whole thing. I think it's really gold rush. Some other statistic maybe interesting for you to know is that people in MENA region, mostly countries in Persian Gulf, spend 7% of their revenue to have fun. It means for entertainment industry. I can compare it with like Britain, that is just 4%, so almost twice, which means they are people who like have fun and who like to enjoy and have. So this is not a data for mobile gaming, but it's like whole entertainment industry. So if you're having another business I'm sure that most of you are developer, most of you are in mobile gaming industry. But if you're considering another industry, another business in game in entertainment industry, so this is something you can also consider that because this number is really high. So yeah, and this is a number then that you can also see here, that average ARPPU in whole MENA region is $60. Maybe you can compare it with China, that is $30. And in a country that it has a very high ARPPU, it comes to 270. That is really huge. Um, Maybe here I can talk about a, a bit about the difference between like these countries. Just a minute. Like, yeah. Um, as you see, I know that these numbers means a lot for developers, that they say, okay, we know that when we want to enter a region with a high ARPPU, that means that we need to invest a lot, and we need to invest a lot for CPI, and that means that we need to have lots of money. That's true. But as you see that the average is very different from the top ARPPU. That means that um, the ARPPU is not fixed in all the region. What we do for our publishing is that we do the soft launch in Cafe Bazaar, like for Farsi speaking users. CPI is low, and we for us is like very this is a very business from business wise, this is a very good decision. And I'm going to show you that we see that games are having a similar pattern, users are having similar behavior in these countries. So you can expect to have a similar reason. So yeah, having a soft launch will give you a good understanding of the region. I mean, whole region. So I'm not saying that going to Africa will give you a good understanding of Middle East, but you can choose some countries that are similar and to have a soft launch, and then go for countries with like big CPI and have a bigger investment and have a bigger campaign. So I'm talking for the developers that they want to start with a smaller budget. I'm not talking for the developers who have firm KPI and who are decided and from the KPI that they want to enter the market, and they are going to have they are decided to invest in like for big campaigns and enter very big in MENA market. So I'm not talking about those developers. Okay, and here maybe I may continue that there are some countries like Egypt, like Iraq, that if you have, you can have a very good user base for those games that will earn from a big user base, and not like mostly maybe casual games, or games that need or hyper casual games, and they can enter to those countries and benefit big user base they can have. Of course, they have some barriers they need to have in mind, and they can. I'm going to say that how can they solve the barriers, and I need to say that based on a survey, 70% of people in these countries are okay and happy with ads in apps. So yeah, this is something that you can benefit and you can enjoy. And for those apps that have advertisement in their application, so this is you can enjoy. um, Here I want to talk a bit, because this is the question, um, is like I can say frequently asked about the genre or type of the games that is mostly um, successful is in MENA region. I think the first answer that every developer who studied a bit the market know is SLG. That SLG games are very popular, very successful. So if you have a SLG game, no doubt you should enter MENA market and you should enjoy this market. I'm sure that you cannot go to other market like SIA and be successful. You can go to US and have there is a demand there, but I'm sure that there are you have concern regarding um, your budget, so you can um, come to MENA region and you can benefit this underserved market. This is really what we always talk to SLG developers, and we advise them to consider that this when you come to an on-tap market and developing market, uh, you need to consider one in compare of a market that is almost saturated. But something else that I want to discuss here is like the soul of competition that is more um, liked in MENA region still is more like maybe if you dive into the games that are successful in MENA region, you will see this that this tribal wars, because this if you go and if you travel into MENA region, if you uh, study a bit the culture, you see still there are some as I mentioned, ethnic groups. There are some tribes, not like in this animated way, but there are some ethnic groups. So once you have this competition, this tribal wars, so you are you are having a very concept that is very familiar with the um, culture. So this is very interesting for the region. So as I mentioned, this competition, you may see it in racing. Racing is a very underserved genre. Very so you if you have a racing game, you can come to the region and you can enjoy this very underserved genre here. And yeah, this game, yeah, the game is great by itself, but this leaderboard is also very important for MENA gamers. Maybe I can tell some story of Clash of King in Cafe Bazaar here. That Clash of King is very successful game in whole MENA. They focused and they have a great focus in MENA. They have a lot of events for MENA calendar. Their team are working very good, and we are in very good connection with Clash of King game. And I know that they are doing it for all MENA region. It's not just for Cafe Bazaar. But something that we studied regarding Clash of King that was interesting for myself was that there is a competition between Farsi speaking and Arabic speaking that made this game even more successful than our usual SLG game. So this is what I referred to tribal wars. So this is something when you are living in a region with vivid culture, with vivid ethnic groups, you can, as a game developer, you can enjoy it once making a game. So if you're making a game for this region, or you have already a game, and you can add a language to your game and boost your revenue. I'm going to address some numbers that how this localization can affect your revenue. So maybe you are just focused in Europe, you are focused in United States, but you might think that maybe you can enter MENA, add a language, and then you can have a you can add to your revenue, you can boost your revenue. This is what I'm trying to uh, give you a way to think out of the box. Yeah, that's it. So the barriers I mentioned, like vivid culture, like localization, that maybe some of you know the localization, but some of you don't know. That localization means like some local elements that are accepted in some culture and some of them are not accepted. That it's really, really, really complicated. That, for example, I, as an Iranian, cannot say I know that what is accepted in Saudi Arabia or what is not accepted in Turkey, because it's really something professional. So professional people in professional way can say what is accepted and what is not accepted. So and it's really mm, uh, you cannot say there is a rule for that or the law say that, because it's really cultural and people say that, and you need to hear it from people. So that's what I'm saying here is that ask help from local. um, this is what I always think, that this is the solution. If you study deeply the culture of this region, or ask help from local, this is the solution, I think. Because if your game does not respect the culture, you won't be successful. This is not what I said that you don't want to respect the culture, but I think that it's something that you simply don't know, and you will get confused. You don't get the result you want, and then you just feel frustrated. So that's thing. I think I just mentioned some good publishing companies that are working in MENA, Cafe Bazaar, Tamatem, Falafel, that they are working good. You can talk with them, you can ask their advice that how you can publish your game in MENA. So I think that's the first and most important step you need to take. Okay, this is the statistic I promised that I'm going to share with you. That if you do the localization, you will have 128% growth in download. Your revenue will be almost 26%. You will have income growth, and people prefer to have around 70% um, localized content. So I think that makes sense. Um, I don't know in which language you speak, but maybe Russian, I can say, and then I guess. But if you have a content in your own language, so you have more preference to download it, you have more preference to buy from it. So this really makes sense. I think for all games. But what we are talking here is that there are not many localized content in this region. This is what we are focusing on. So back to what I said, there are not many localized content. There are not many content produced in Arabic, Farsi, Turkey. People have the money, as we mentioned. There are country has oil, gas. People like to spend their money in entertainment, as we mentioned that like 7% of their salary just goes for having fun. So this is all the data that I wanted to focus. So this is a like again many frequently asked questions that people say, okay, when we should publish our game. I think again this is a question that it's similar to other questions like every developer may have for other region. There are local calendars for each country. For example, in Iran, we have a very big like event that is our New Year that is different with any other New Year that is just for Farsi speaking countries, and it's called Nowruz. Maybe for your game, some day before Nowruz, would be a good day for a good time for publishing your game. But I can say maybe in general, if you publish your game in Ramadan, would be a good time for MENA region because people are mostly at home. They are resting. They are like having more free time to play. So this is also a good time for having your game already published, and you can enjoy and benefit this time with the user that you have. I think we are going to finish soon, so I'm going to have the last slides I'm having. So these two slides are the one that I mentioned earlier, and that this region are having this similar user behavior. This is one I wanted to show you with like most popular Arabic speaking and most popular Farsi speaking content. I wanted to show you that there are very similar game in these two um, um, region, or I may say in these two language. And for example, you can see like this game that is a card game. You can see here for Jalasat VIP, it's also a card game, or this game that is Piano Al Arab, that is also another popular game here, or this word games that are popular here. Also, you can find this كلمات متقاطع here. That's I wanted to show you what I said before, that you can do the soft launch in a more cheaper way, have the first result, but you need to um, choose your country precisely. But when you did it, having your first result, and then going and having a bigger campaign, and then yeah, you will have a very good and successful result. That's not hard, and that's not scary if you do what we said earlier, asking help from local partners. So I think that's it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention, and I hope you stay healthy.
Thank you very much, Golnar.